Do I go 8? Okay. Hello everyone. Shall we begin? How are we doing? Thank you for joining me. Let's actually start. I know it's the last session of the day. If you've been here all day, you're probably super exhausted and ready to go home. Let's all stand up, please. I'm going to make you move during this session, all right? Let's all start with 10 jumping jacks, all right? And see how we feel after this. All right, so out, in, out together, 2, 3, yes, 4, 5, yes, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. How are we feeling? Good. Okay, better? Shake out the shoulders. Let's rotate a little bit. Get loose, get moving. We're done. Rotate the hip. Are we feeling tight after sitting around all day? You need the yalla, join us. Amazing. Thank you. You could sit back down if you like. You could stay standing, however you want. You can move freely. My name is Samia. Before I introduce myself, I just want to start by hearing from you guys. So I just want to hear why you're here in this session. What are some things, holistic approach to Arab children's physical well-being, a topic I think that's severely underrated, and something obviously I'm super passionate about, but I want to hear some of the challenge maybe that you've faced, or some things that you've faced, or some successes that you've had, and why you are here. Who wants to share? Yes.
So I think we, as parents, always kind of deep dive and focus on something, whether it's their language skills, or their food skill, or the way that they eat, their nutrition, or what should we be doing for their education. There isn't really a holistic approach to, okay, what about all the other things, and how do we sort of make sure that they're this full, well-rounded, happy child? And we get caught up in these like micro-focused decisions we have to make. So that's what really was attractive for me about it.
Awesome.
Looking at it holistically.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
For me, I loved sports growing up, but I was always told, like, act like a girl, like stop doing so much sports, like you need to be a girl, be more feminine. So I think sports was thought about, if you're doing sports, that means you're not enough of a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like that, so I have 2 girls now, so I want to raise them differently and have them, love sports and do sports while being a girl.
I love that.
I think, I was going to say, I grew up doing sports. My parents were forcing us to keep them busy lifestyle, keep the kids busy, away from TV back then. But what I want right now is, as a family, to be that healthy, physical well-being as a family. To instill that in your kids, and you're the role model for them.
Love that.
So maybe that's
Love that.
So my point is, she started with, do I force my kids?
How do you get them to get involved? Yeah.
Now I feel like sometimes I do force my kid to go. He's only 4 to gymnastics.
Yeah.
But then I feel sometimes that he's not enjoying it as much. But when he's there, he is having fun. So
Yeah.
I force him to go there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, do I keep doing that, or do I find something else that he loves more?
Awesome.
That's it.
Awesome. Yeah.
So along the same thing with gymnastics, you force, I see my daughter, she's really good in gymnastics, and when she's there, she's enjoying it, but then the drive there was dreadful, and we kept doing this, we do 1 term gymnastics, and then we'll stop 2 terms, and I'm like, halas, I can't do this until you're ready. And it's been 2 years of that, and I left her all of last year, and this year she was like, I want to do gymnastics, and finally. But now it's more, for me, it's they like a lot of things, and is it better to put them in a lot of things or choose one?
Yeah.
I want them to excel in one thing, but we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So what's the balance between how much should they do and
Yeah. That's super interesting. As a parent, you're you want to get them to do as many things as possible, but you're not sure, right? So there's a statistic actually that shows that most professional athletes have actually grown up doing 2 or more sports, and it makes them better at that specific sport as well. So I would say generally put them in as many things as they want to be in, let them explore. That's how they find out what they're passionate about. and let them have fun, and then we'll talk about kind of like the seriousness of like, but you're amazing at this, and how that kind of affects, kids' participation in sports. But I love that. That's amazing that they want to do multiple things.
There's that 10,000-hour rule.
Yeah.
Like, should they be focusing on one thing that they're good at, or like do basketball and gymnastics
Yeah.
and choir and
Yeah, and that's when we start to think about, okay, what is the goal of them? Like, what is our purpose and for them to get out of sports? Do you want them to be a professional athlete? Do they want to be a professional athlete? Do they just want to have fun and play? Awesome, we'll talk about that a little bit. Anyone else? Yeah.
I'm really concerned about without sports, the daily movement of the kids.
Yes, yes.
Because they don't have the daily activity, the play and the motor skills they should have. Climbing trees, walking, cycling. If they go somewhere like I am from Norway and my husband is from Lebanon, and my daughter grew up in the Middle East. And whenever they go to Norway, she's like, I'm so tired. I don't want to walk. And it's like, I can't climb this big. Can you carry me? Can you carry me? Like, vroom, vroom, up and down like monkeys. And I'm like, oops,
Yeah.
So no matter how many gymnastic classes and
Yes.
ever I put her in,
Yeah.
she can't cope with the kids there.
Yeah.
Form and background,
Yeah.
holistic movement,
Yeah.
in
So,
their daily life. And
yeah.
routine.
How do we apply that here
And this
in our
I'm
environment?
concerned about.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really difficult to try.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Awesome. We'll cover a bunch of these things, and if I miss anything, we'll have some time for a little more deep dive Q&A as well. I love those. Thanks for being here, and I'm super excited to share a little bit more with you guys, and then make this interactive and hear more from you, ladies. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Samia. A mom of one, nearly two. I'm a designer, a fitness coach, and co-founder of Bia Warrior. Bia Warrior is a program that supports women through every stage of womanhood, and we do that through fitness programs, through retreats, as well as events. And basically, I grew up playing sports my whole life, like some or many of you here. From as long as I can remember, from the playground, just spending all my day in the playground, to at school, I'd spend my lunch times, instead of like sitting and chatting, I'd be on the basketball court with the boys every lunchtime or every day after school, and I'd come home with scrapes and bruises, super proud of them. And of course, wear your dresses. Why are you playing sports with the boys? Be more feminine. You're a tomboy. Stuff like that were things I would regularly hear. But since then, it's been such an important part of my life. In my early career, I got a degree in graphic design, did my master's in design entrepreneurship. So after university, kind of as with every adult, or most adults, you see a decline in physical activity or sports or participation, and I kind of miss the joy and the connection and the challenges and the camaraderie that teamwork brought. So I tried to find that for myself in different spaces. I'd try to sign up for different gyms, do obstacle programs, all that kind of stuff. And that kind of took me to obstacle training and Ninja Warrior training. I joined Ninja Warrior in 2017, I believe. I did the Ninja Warrior in Arabic, which is a TV show with like obstacle courses and stuff. And that led me to representing Sheikh Hamdan in the F3 team in 2019 in Gov Games. From there, I met my co-founder, and we had this idea of starting Bia Warrior, basically in supporting women, in helping them realize and helping us realize how strong we really are as women. We, can use a little bit more confidence, a little bit more kind of support in believing in ourselves a little bit more. We are stronger than we think, and we believe we are. And that's how we kind of started Bia Warrior. And I believe that as women, we are the key to empowering the next generation, right? We make decisions, how our kids spend our time, and role model our behavior to our kids. And that takes me to the next one. So that's a little bit about myself. Enough talk about myself. Let's go back to you guys. Let's stand up again, please. 10 hops this time. Actually, no, let's do squats, all right? So we're gonna stand in front of our chair. I'll give you your chair as a target, okay? Making you guys work. Feel the benefits of movement. All right, we're gonna tap our bum on the seat and stand up just 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, very nice. 5, yes, let me see it. 6, 7, no cheating. 8, 9, 10. All right, how do we feel? We're okay? Beautiful. All right. Now, I want you to stay standing. I'm so sorry. Stay standing if you feel like you lead a generally healthy lifestyle. No. Sit down. You are excused. Okay, I want you to keep standing if you work out. It could be strength training, cardio, biking, whatever. 1 to 2 times a week. Stay standing. Beautiful. Okay. 3 to 4 times a week. 5 to 7 times a week. Amazing. Half. 4 to 5. Yes, this is life balance. It doesn't exist in one linear motion plane. Okay, amazing. Okay, now as a reflection, I want you to write down, okay? There's markers on your tables, and I want you to use your A4 papers. Write down, how was physical fitness a part of your life growing up? Yeah, anywhere you like. So I want you to think about, how was physical fitness a part of your life growing up? And what role models did you have? Did you have any role models that you looked up to or that supported you in fitness? Anything. Yeah, anything. Physical fitness could be playing in the park, could be strength training, sports, team activities, playing, whatever it could be. Yeah. Okay, next, if you've had time to think about that, I want you to think about, what is your first memory of play? Play. Your first memory doesn't have to be when you're a kid, but what is your, maybe the kind of memory that you think about yourself in your youngest self, where you engaged in play? And next, think about how that made you feel. Now I want you to think about your last memory of play, your most recent memory. When's the last time you played or you tried something for the first time? Is it more than a year ago? 5 years ago? 10 years ago? And I want you to think about, if it has been a while, what are some of your roadblocks or challenges? Why did you stop? What are some things that kind of get in the way of you spending time on play? All right, and as we probably already assume, your answers, if you'd like to share them, you can. But will tell you a lot, I think. Research shows that there's a direct correlation between parents and children in terms of activity levels. Kids with 2 parents are 5.8 times more likely to engage in physical activity and lead physically active lifestyles than peers with no parental, like peers that don't have active parents, and that leads to reduced anxiety and depression symptoms. So now look at your habits. I want you to kind of look back and kind of look at yourself, when the last time you played was, how active you are, and think about how that could translate into perhaps your child's maybe outlook on physical activity. And if you don't have time to work out because you have kids, we want to start looking at how we can maybe involve them in our activities, right? Like kind of work on different types of training or different types of activities that we can all be engaged with as a family. Because getting them involved in your workout, kind of like looking away from the traditional kind of like, I need 1 hour to work out and it's all or nothing, and moving away from that mindset and being like, hold on, how can we engage our family in being more physically active and maybe doing different activities? Like instead of going to the mall, maybe we can go for a bike ride together, or maybe we can set up a play area in our house and like do a little obstacle course for them with whatever we have at home and do it together. Because obviously seeing you role model that activity for them in a fun, safe space will make them more likely, them associating a memory that is fun with you will make them more likely to work out as well and to engage in sports away from you in a different kind of environment that is not so safe or comfortable. Now, there has been a huge decline in physical activity in children. So in 2022, the National Survey of Children's Health reported that 53.8% of children between the ages of 6 to 17 engaged in sports, which is down from 58.4 in 2017, and that is just like a 5-year gap. Worldwide, yeah. Here, even bringing it kind of closer to home and locally, only 1 in 5 kids in the UAE actually get the recommended amount of physical activity for their age, which is 60 minutes a day. And that could be sports, that could be running around, playing, but being physically active. In Canada, girls specifically and women's participation has been on the decline for the past 20 years. Yeah, so I mean, we see it, right? With the growth of technology, probably costs of activities, the inflation, busyness of our lifestyles, all these things will factor in for the decline of sports. And what is even more alarming is that if a girl has not played sports by the age of 10, she's only 10% likely to engage in sports or physical activity as an adult. So it makes sense, right? This is obviously more exacerbated in our region. As you mentioned, Gigi, like, you know, act like a girl, wear dresses. Who's heard that? Like, you're a tomboy, why are you playing around? Don't hurt yourself, be careful, be careful. All those things, obviously, more kind of, I think, you know, we can relate to in our culture a little bit more. That, if you think about it, is building a culture of fear in our kids, right? Like, we're not kind of not pushing them, but, you know, encouraging them to kind of feel safe in a physically active space, and discouraging them from playing sports. So now I want you to open up that big sheet of paper and just talk amongst selves to look at 5 misconceptions. Let's list 5 misconceptions about physical health that impact our families or the Arab family. This could be maybe start to think about a memory that or statement that you were told related to movement, exercise, sports, anything like that. Maybe discuss something that you have been told about sports, exercise, movement. Use all of it. Yes.
What are you right?
Yes.
All recorded.
MEN. Muggsy Bogues.
Yeah, he was inspiration for a lot of kids.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah. Does anyone want to share any? I was told, for example, don't lift weights, you won't be able to have kids.
I was gonna say that lifting weights get too bulky.
Yeah.
Too bulky. No one will look at you. We've all heard that.
Yeah, yeah.
No one would like you, boys won't like you if you're naughty.
So now once you've written those down, I want you to think about, maybe we can discuss ways we can kind of change the narrative of some of those misconceptions. Let's share some of them actually. Who wants to share some? Yes. Oh, interesting. That's so funny because most of them are petite. So they linked that. That's so funny. Wow, never heard that. Yeah.
Why did they laugh?
No.
That's why they say all the gymnasts are short.
Oh gosh.
We can say that it's a boys' sport.
Yeah.
Something that we are
Something boys usually do. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We said the same for dance. So boys and dance.
Yeah.
Boy can be in a dance class.
Yeah.
Ballet.
Yeah. So what are some things or actions that we can take or make differently to encourage, to kind of, break those misconceptions and encourage our kids to stay in sports rather than kind of build this fear-based narrative around it? Role model, yes. Yeah.
Challenge the thought process.
Yeah. Encourage them to join these different sports and awesome. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Encourage them to actually do those things. Amazing. So many benefits of play and sport are kind of work like hand in hand. They're interchangeable. And there's so many benefits. Kids learn that they're in control of their own life. They learn how to make decisions, where they learn to solve their own problems. They experience joy, get along with peers, build friendships, and learn how to be creative and innovative and empathetic. So obviously we want to encourage that rather than kind of continue those misconceptions. And some exercise benefits, in addition to play, of why it's super important to break those misconceptions and stereotypes. And I heard someone say something about like another thing in our culture especially is like, study first and play is the first thing to go in school curriculums and, more science, become a lawyer, a doctor, and which are all amazing things to achieve for, but play is so underrated And these are some of the benefits that we're missing out on by kind of taking play away. The first thing that we're taking away. So obviously physically reducing obesity levels and chronic diseases, eliminating risk behaviors, increasing self-esteem, self-confidence, building leadership and teamwork. That's where they learn in a safe space how to fail, that it's okay to fail. Resilience, grit, you know, you can fall down 7 times, you get up 8, and you continue to learn, and it's a safe space to do that. In addition to that, muscle is the organ of longevity. The more muscle you have, the more you are going to be physically capable as we age. Whose grandpa cannot even get off the chair, right? Like, we want to kind of improve our well-being, live well for longer, right? Because as we age, there's a link also between physical activity, sports, strength training in specific, and muscle with reducing the risk of Alzheimer's, dementia. It actually creates new neural pathways in your brain to improve your memory and cognitive function as we age, which is something that is super, not talked about enough, especially strength training for women. You know, I think in our society, a lot of women still see it as, I don't want to get bulky, or I don't know how to lift, or I don't, have a safe space to lift. But we are losing out on incredible benefits, especially helps reduce osteoporosis chances. Yeah, we lose bone density as we age, over the age of 20 actually. And sarcopenia, which is muscle loss. We lose 3 to 5% of muscle every decade after the age of 30 if you're physically inactive, right? So that will lead to not being able to get off the chair. And just the importance of strength training. Swimming is great, yoga is great, Pilates is great. However, it's not enough. If we can incorporate strength training into our lives, and it does not stunt our kids' growth. It's actually really good for kids. If you think about it, we do resistance training in everyday life. Kids pick up their backpack, right? Like, how can we safely create better conditions for them to be able to do those things safely in a safe environment and a controlled environment, than to actually help them learn how to do it the right way, incorporate the right muscles, improve their core strength, all that kind of stuff. It also increases mitochondrial function, which is incredible in our metabolism, in our energy, in our cells. Coordination, mobility, preventing falls and fractures, incredible benefits. So, how to get your kids to play sports. A lot of us talked about role modeling behavior, yeah? We talked about there's two different ways. The recommended activity levels for kids, we talked about not enough kids meeting it, 60 minutes per day. For adults, only 20% of adults in the UAE meet the minimum requirements, which is 150 minutes a week, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, that's it. Yeah, 20%. So how do we change that role model behavior for them? How do we incorporate that into their daily lives? Let's think about our activities and our daily schedule. How can we maybe change certain habits, or actually schedule in certain things as a family? Maybe we go for a bike ride, for a long walk. Maybe we set up a play area in our living room. There's so many resources, so many free apps you could follow, activities you could do, dance around, squats like we just did, with your families, so that you're creating that safe environment for them, and they're having fun at home. They're gonna be more likely to want to do it outside of the house. But I feel like because it's not as natural to us here, we don't have the environment, like it's summertime and it's hard, we kind of think out of the box of creating those experiences and scenarios for them, and trying to get them to do it in our day, but also join them in those activities. Remember, sports is supposed to be fun, so I highly recommend you get them doing as many sports as they like or they're interested in. That way they can see what they kind of connect to. Everyone's different, what is their sport. And then they can choose one they like, but why do they have to? If you have girls, female coaches are highly considered key to girls' participation in sports as well. Research shows that 45, yes? Yes, should be So if you're a girl, female coaches, you'll relate to them more. Yeah, they kind of are able to empathize, with the girls more. They know what they're going through, hormones. 45% of girls drop out of youth sports by the age of 14. Okay, that's 40% higher than boys the same age. What happens when we're 14? You know, we're getting close to we're menstruating. We are kind of being told, you know, to be pretty. Those wear a bra. Our bodies are changing. It's getting awkward. You want to be attractive. You're kind of like
Finding your space is very hard.
exactly.
That said, like majority of teenagers, I think around that age, drop out of sports. And she was saying like the findings, like they all felt uncomfortable. They felt like they were a bit too heavy all of a sudden, that they weren't able to run or anything.
When you have your period and you have swim class, are you going to feel okay to tell your male coach versus your female coach? You know, like having someone relatable really actually increases the chances of your girls staying in sports. And basically, we wanted to combat this issue that is happening. And Bia Girls is our most recent program at Bia Warrior. And it is an initiative for girls aged 9 to 14 that basically the goal is to promote fitness and health from a younger age that will stay with the girls through adulthood, and creating a safe space, a supportive environment to help girls gain confidence, get strong, learn new skills in a space that's free of judgment, in a space where they can be themselves, that is encouraging, where they have female role models that will get them, that will empathize with them. And they basically just creating a space for play and kind of making it fun and making it supportive and encouraging each other.
Is there a reason why it starts at 9 and not younger?
Because of that statistic that we found, that girls, because of that kind of formative period in the girl's life where it becomes awkward, where we found that that is kind of a crucial time to step in and guide them. But the goal is to increase the ages as we go along, definitely. We want to get younger and younger because it is super important to target. But this is why we piloted, we just started in September, and that's why we started with this age group, because it's such a crucial age and a formative age for young girls where they're transitioning, they're changing. So we're like, okay, we are in need. Like a lot of girls that I spoke to a lot of moms recently, and they said their 9-year-old girls were like, I'm gonna go on a diet now. I wanna watch my bodies. And I'm like, you're 9.
I stopped my
Yeah.
sports at the age of 12.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, oh, boys like this, you know, and then you start wearing, as you mentioned, the bra and the sports bra are not introduced for that age, so you don't know you're awkward.
Yeah.
That's when I actually stopped my sport, I remember.
Yeah. So how do we combat that and get girls to kind of come back into a safe space where they don't have to worry about this awkwardness, where it's a, you know, inclusive environment that is supportive, and other girls are going through the same things and they're not like intimidated, oh, this guy's gonna think I'm not pretty, or, you know, it's awkward to tell this male coach about, you know, this thing. So I think especially in our region, it's super important to kind of create that kind of, yeah,
Non-shame.
exactly.
Is a huge one.
Exactly.
There's a lot of shame, so either the way you're sitting, you know, even now I'm a 40-year-old woman, my dad, if I'm sitting, hey, Daddy, I'm like, oh my God. You know, but you're just going to teach them that they can be themselves, and like, you know,
Yeah.
if you have your period, it's okay to
Yeah.
have your period.
Yeah.
Like I grew up with a misconception that, oh, I have my period, I shouldn't be working out or running or doing any physical activity when I have my
Yeah.
period. Yeah, I didn't want it for it to have a pain, you know? I'm like, come on, you know, like, so I think these things to just, I think making conversation available
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Awesome. All right, so how do we improve our overall health and longevity as a society? How is physical fitness incorporated into your life on a daily basis? I want you to reflect on that. Like your daily schedule, how does it go about? You go hiking?
How do you do it in the UAE? I struggle with the weather. Like
Yeah.
I'm a person that like seriously hibernates when it's hot. Like my husband always said, we're fortunate to live next to the beach. So he's like, let's go for a walk.
Yes.
I keep telling him before November, don't ask me to go for a walk outside. And I feel like I'm not myself most of the year because I cannot get myself to work out.
Honestly,
No, like I
yoga.
Yeah.
like I love being outdoors.
Yeah.
For me, sports is hiking and
Yes.
swimming and being
Yes.
outdoors. And I feel, but that's my own
around and the things around, and they just see me like that's the only way they because if I'm not actively consciously trying to get them with me, they'll never see it. Like I would come into gym once and I'm like 4-year-old and I'm like, bro, she's coming in. She's with me. خلاص, no, I'm sorry. I know if she's not gonna see it, when is she gonna be introduced to the gym? Only when she needs to diet because she's gained love handles or something, like at what age. It's so bad. And I like wish growing up, I wish I had someone that looked like me, spoke like me, kind of felt like me, to just be interested in the things that I am now interested in.
So
Or that whether interest out in a need for my health. But I have to.
if you try to think about it as an opportunity to explore maybe new sports or new activities that are indoors, even though it's not your preferred thing, in the summertime when we can't go outside, or you go for like 5 a.m. hikes, you choose.
And it's more about actually me. It's about me doing that.
Exactly, right? We need
I
to,
have no problem being outdoors.
100%.
45 degrees.
yeah.
And I'll be dying like, خلاص تعالوا على السيارة. Like,
Yeah. So maybe it's an opportunity to like, take up swimming inside or try a new indoor kind of gym activity or sport or something like that, like bounce or, be a warrior. Shameless plug. To create that space with your kids as well.
And also make it fun. Go ahead first.
one thing, just dance.
Yes,
يعني
dance parties.
dance.
Living.
My favorite switch on, like on the streets. I have a like playlist, I call them dancing vibes. Okay, and so I sometimes hey Joe, and I want to move. I'm the opposite. I bring it to the winter. That's good on in summer. Okay, so I can't. So I'm like, well, I have a playlist. I put it on, and I just if I have my living room is designed. I call this my dance room. Come on. If I'm with the kids or alone or whatever, I just dance 15 minutes, 30 minutes, half an hour. The music gets you going, and you sweat, you move, like there's a lot of, for me, it's important.
I think we're lucky in the UAE to have a lot of cool, innovative things, right? Like, if you like rock climbing, there's like a really
Indoor,
cool
yes.
indoor rock climbing gym, right? So you can still kind of get that idea. Like these huge,
Yes.
there's like the huge Danube bubble, right? They have basketball courts, tennis courts, paddle courts. So, and all that is stuff that you could still do outdoors.
I love that you eat on like,
Yeah.
it's just like the weather. It's just the weather. I just wish I could love
But
it.
if there's more in the world, we have to be inside.
The what?
Can you think of the fun fun?
No, the chips I need to get it.
It's like the fun fun that my friend has. We were in the English and what's that noise? It's coming out of your shirt. And it was a fan that he had. In his trousers and just like airs out his shirt.
That's amazing.
Actually, very helpful in that. I forced myself, so I put my daughter in a nursery next to it is F45. I'm like, I drop her, I go there. Because I'm not motivated at times. And I don't like the videos. I like to still chill and work on sports. But when you're forced to go somewhere.
100%. Like find a routine that works for you and schedule it in. If you don't schedule it in, it's not going to happen. If it's at the bottom of your priority list, it won't happen, right? 100%.
Extra proactive
Yeah.
to make it happen.
100%. You know all the benefits, you know all the risk factors. So we just need to prioritize ourselves a little bit more so that we can better role model for our kids as well. And there's now kind of two types of fitness or how to be physically active, right? So there's the actual, I think it's called HEAT, but basically when you have like your recommended 30 minutes a day, there's a Dubai Fitness Challenge, all those things happening. But when you're doing your recommended like intentional like strength training, I recommend like three days a week strength training, twice a week other activities, could be Pilates, yoga, cardiovascular fitness, whatever that is. But you do your 1 hour, 5 days a week or 30 minutes, whatever it is. But there's also something called NEAT, which is exercise activity. And that is a huge part of kind of incorporating physical wellness in our lifestyle that is lacking here. In the UAE, the average step count is 4,500 steps a day. Globally, it's almost 6,000 steps a day. The recommended minimum is 7,000 steps a day, right? Obviously, it's hard to walk here. the heat, the sidewalks, all that kind of stuff. But there's certain little things we could do to make a little bit more effort, challenge ourselves, park further from the, further on the parking, take the steps. You know, if you're at your desk, get up, walk around, do walking meetings. A couple friends of mine have actually travelators, and they just like work on their travelator. But non-exercise activity actually takes up most of your day, where your 1 hour exercise, you could live a sedentary lifestyle, but still work out 1 hour a day. But like, what are you doing with the other 16 hours that you're awake? How are you kind of being physically active is something that you can play around with too and encourage your kids to do. So NEAT versus, so step count, highly recommended. Something easy that you can kind of target and work towards. So it starts with us, educating, empowering the next generation, role modeling for them, just kind of writing down how we're gonna be more mindful about these things in our daily lives. Just a little bit about Bia Warrior. This is one of the reasons that inspired us to start Bia Warrior. That is Yara right here. So our goal is supporting today and tomorrow's generation of women. And as I mentioned, we do that through fitness and wellness programs for every stage of womanhood, starting from girls now to strength training, to obstacle training, and our pregnancy and postpartum program as well, finding a gap between that pregnancy and not having enough resources to get back into training postpartum. So this is, you all get a free trial class. This is something you could do in the summertime when the weather is terrible. You also all get a free trial for Bia Girls as well in your gift bags. And now I want to end with your commitment, all right? So if you took anything from this session, I want you to write down on your little A4 sheets, or you could discuss this, where you are today, your current situation, your lifestyle habits, how many hours a week or how many sessions a week do you work out? Do you strength train? Do you do cardio? Do you do, how's your walking? Just a little bit about your daily regimen and how that affects your physical and mental state. And once you write down where you are today, I want you to have another column and write down where you would like to be. What is your ideal kind of aspirational goals of where you'd like to be in 3 months? Whether it's like a physical goal, you want to get stronger, you want to achieve a certain thing. It could be just to live a more active lifestyle. It could be a specific goal. Or it could be just, you know, I want to actually train 3 times a week. Where you want to be in 3 months and where you want to be in 1 year. And we'll have 2 more columns. We're almost done. I want you to think about what current obstacles do you have that you will have to overcome to make those changes. It could be time, money, whatever it is. Physical ailments, injuries, motivation. Yeah, accountability. Your mind. Yes. Motivation. Yeah. 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 And then after this, I want you to think about how you're going to get there. What 3 steps will you take today to make it happen, or that you need to take today? So if it is motivation, do you sign up for a community that, you know, there's a lot of free running communities as well for beginners all the way to advanced. Do you sign up to something do you sign up with a friend? Do you tell a friend, let's do this together so you can hold each other accountable? Do you habit stack it with something else that you do in your day? That you have to start each day in that way, where you don't kind of allow your mind to take over and you just put an alarm and you just do it. And I want you to think about those things for your kids as well. How does this, maybe your own kind of thinking about it or mindset affect your kids' activities and activity levels as well? Does anyone want to share?
I'm a bit too loud.
There's no such thing. Was that just a joke, or you want to actually share? You can.
Where I am right now is a work in progress. My training is very irregular. My motivation is zero. I'm very far from where I used to be. But the discipline still exists. And I'm currently in my head where I want to be is out of my head. To just trust the process and just do it, just go. And my goal is to go back to training 3 times a week. That's within the next 3 months. Within a year, go back to taking up my passion sport. So that's what I call obstacle training. And how I'll get there, so I have been putting it into my calendar. I'm planning it. Accountability is like I've invested money into it, so I'm not going to let that money go. And yeah, I just wanted to have it integrated seamlessly in my routine, like for it to be, you're hungry, you eat, you wake up, you take care of your body, you train, even if it's a 20-minute training or a 45-minute training or an hour. Because it's just something that is so seamless, not a big deal to finish it.
I love that. And a lot of moms kind of issues or whatever challenges is that we don't have time for ourselves, right? So that's another just factor of like, you have to watch your kid, make it physical, do a physical activity, have them join your workout. And we, obviously there's always setbacks. Your kid gets sick, something happens, you off track and you're like, oh gosh, like how am I gonna go back? I'm so far behind. But I think in general, we need to get rid of this all or nothing mindset. And that is especially if you're competitive or, you know, if you're used to a specific routine, there's no such thing as life balance, right? Like 1 week is going to be insane, 1 week is going to be doing nothing. And I think the biggest kind of thing that we should look at and the biggest measure of success could be, you know, how fast you bounce back after you are stuck in a rut or after something is not going your way. How quickly can we bounce back? So have we created that support system, or can we create that support system that will help us bounce back? I hate that term, but like go back to, you know, what we're trying to get to. So I think doing realistic things, maybe scheduling even 20 minutes of movement, more realistic. Something is better than nothing, always, with the kids as well. Yes?
Share something. When I started to take my physical health and movement more, as part of my day-to-day life, not that long ago. But it started first as I'm not going to say a punishment. Okay, so I'm a writer, so I'd be at home, I have a deadline, I have work to do, and I procrastinate. So I found myself فاطمة إذا ما منش فايدة قاعدة في البيت, okay? لبسي جوتي وقومي طلعي.
صح.
Okay, like that was my mentality. If you're not being productive, put on your shoes, go for a walk. But قاعدة كذي لا. Within 3 weeks, the narrative changed. It was, if you finish your work, we'll go for a walk.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it became the reward to finishing my work, and okay, I'll finish this so I can give myself the walk, like to enjoy it. And that changed. It changed my life because from then I joined the gym. Then I very slowly built my activity regime
In a sustainable way.
in a sustainable way, as opposed to be like, oh, I'm going to go all the way. When I started with the gym, it was once a week. And if joined and I was like at the incline, right? Okay, and I'm like, am I ever gonna get there? And this week I carried my 58.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. So, but I didn't say, oh, this is. I just told myself, just keep going.
One step at a time.
I always only look at the small goal that's immediately next to where I am, as opposed to the long one, because it would be so daunting. And I made it easy and I made it joyful.
I love that. We are out of time. Here is how you can find me. Feel free to reach out. You are all welcome to join us at Bia Warrior. I just wanted to, yes. Any questions? Yes.
The location.
Al-Koz. Yes, Al-Koz. We run our obstacle program at Gravity Gym in Al-Koz and the strength training and pregnancy and postpartum at Champs Gym in Al-Koz as well. So very close to each other. Yeah.
Sorry, you said something earlier. You said like Pilates is swimming great, but not enough. So you need strength training. Can you repeat why?
So as women, our bone density Aslan originally isn't as strong as men, right? So we're at high risk of osteoporosis, especially after the age of 20, our bone density starts to decline. So muscle strength training, resistance training in any form, resistance is anything kind of opposing gravity, right? So you're doing something that is challenging in kind of like pushing down away from something, carrying groceries, carrying suitcases, lifting your kids. You want to build muscle in order to be able to support that and support your lifestyle. So sarcopenia is the term used to describe muscle loss, and we lose 3 to 5% of muscle literally every decade after the age of 30. That leads to falls, fractures, injuries. My mom got osteoporosis, and she always used to tell me. Now she's like, I wish I'd strength trained like you told me. But basically, like lifting a shopping cart off a sidewalk or something like this. So when we strength train, we build muscle to support our bodies and doing our daily tasks in a much easier and more efficient way, right? Especially as we age, super important because it just naturally declines. So doing strength training helps combat these things and just helps us live better for longer.
You said the word efficient. So is that like suggesting that like for example doing yoga or Pilates, you need to do an X amount of hours or an X amount of reps to be able to like have that equate to strength? Because like with Pilates, some would say it's also a form of resistance.
Yes, but you're using your body weight and you never go beyond your body weight.
You hit a plateau basically.
You hit a plateau. So in order to be able to efficiently continue with your body weight as you age and as your body changes, you want to be able to kind of train your body to do more resistance at heavier weights safely in a controlled environment with, the right technique, the right form, so that when you experience those things in daily life, it doesn't cause you injury, harm, or anything like that. You're able to do it efficiently. So like, I'm not gonna get up from a chair like this when I'm older. I can just stand up normally because I had that resistance training. My muscles are stronger. Literally, the more muscle you have, it is a lifespan dictator as well, which is a lot of research studies.
Sorry, I injured my back.
Yeah.
Because I haven't trained, and since I had my first child, it's been a good 5 years.
Yeah.
Strength training and just cardio, and I injured my back, and then I got the disc, and then I got the herniated disc, and now 2 months ago I had this major surgery in the back, and now I'm starting from scratch to build my core muscle, my back muscle.
Good job.
And it needs 6 months of Pilates to start with Pilates till I reach the stage where I can actually train again and lift weights safely without injuring
Yeah.
so I just tell everyone right now, word of advice, start train from now before you reach the
Yeah.
stage I reached, and then it forces me to train now.
The more muscle you have, the more it protects your bones and joints and everything around you from like the risk of injury. Your muscle will actually absorb any shocks or anything like that more than your joints and the rest of that. Any questions? Thank you. Thank you, ladies.